Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video you are going to learn the provider package in Flutter. So let me show you the package. So that's the package we are going to learn, the provider package. So let me just explain you the app functionalities first. We are not going to create the UI of the app, but we are going to just add the provider functionality in this app. So this is the basic structure of the app. There is a home screen from where you can navigate to cart screen and or wishlist screen. Okay, and they in the home screen there are list of items. You can add item to the cart screen, or you can add item to the wishlist screen. In the cart screen you can add item to the wishlist screen too. So you can add item to wishlist screen in two ways, one from the home screen, or you can add item to the wishlist from the card screen too. Same goes for wishlist. So let me just show you the UI. So this is the app we are going to add, in which we are going to add the provider functionalities. By pressing this function we can add the item to the wish list. So right now there is nothing because we didn't added anything, and by pressing this button we can add the item to the cart, and from here we can navigate to the cart screen. So first of all we are going to create two classes. So let me just explain you the code little bit. This is the main, and this is the home screen where we have two icon buttons on the app bar, and then there's a body of the grocery items where grocery data is sorry where grocery data is already I provided hard coded. You can also use it from the fetch the data from the Firebase or any of the backend servers you have. So other than that, there's a cart widget. Oh, sorry, the home widget first. Home grocery widget, where this widget actually, where you have all the items parameters defined, where you have the two buttons for the wish list and cart, and same goes for cart screen, and there's a cart widget and wishlist widget and wishlist screen. So that's all. So let's start with creating the two classes. First is cart provider. Let me just give you a idea of the provider. So in provider we basically have to create a separate class which will be responsible for storing and updating all the data in the UI. So for example in this here we have a cart provider class which will be responsible for storing all the carted items. For example, when we add the item in the a cart from home screen, this class will store all the carted items, and whenever the data is updated through this class, this will notify or the screen or where we are widget where we are fetching these carted items, that we have updated the data, and this will update the UI automatically. So first we need to define a attribute which will store the cart items. Okay, so this there's a list of grocery items. This I initialize this with empty. You can because I'm not storing the data in the backend, so it's always going to start with null. Okay, now as the you can see this is a private attribute, so we can we have to define a function to get this. So here's a function get function for this, and to update the data. So to in this for example we are only going to add items. No, we can also edit items or delete items, but this is going to be very complex. So in for sake of simplicity I'm only going to add the add item functions. So you can see in this class there is nothing difficult. We have to extend our class with change notifier, and also we have to wherever we update the cart items, we have to call the notify listeners function. That's it. There's nothing different. So let's move on to wishlist provider. Same for this class, we have to add a list of items. Then we have to add get functions. Then we have to add the update function. That's it. So now move on to home. There's nothing to change in home because we are doing everything in the home widget. So let's move into home widget. So here where when we press this button, wishlist button, we have to add the item in the wishlist screen. Let me show you how to you can add the item in the wishlist and in the cart. So first you have to write this function. Let me just import it. Okay. So this is the basic syntax. You can see provider of wishlist provider. So we are telling that there is a wishlist provider from which we are going to add item. The add item function we defined here. Sorry, wishlist provider, this function. Okay, we are calling this function through home grocery widget. Okay, so you see similarly we can use the cart, the card provider. The As you can see, the syntax is same, but we just change the wishlist provider to the card provider. Okay, nothing more in this page because only have to add this item. So now we have added the item in the card provider, okay, in this class, okay, wishlist provider and card provider. Now we have to display the item in the card screen and wishlist screen. For that I have created this list view. Okay, so first we have to add the item count, and we have to pass the item, that particular item in the cart widget. So we can what we can do is we can create first the instance of that cart provider. You can see this is similar to the previous one with the provider of cart provider, and we have created the instance of this. Now you can just use the function get cart items. Oops, sorry. Okay, okay. So now you can see just get cart items, which will return the list of items, and dot length we will get the length of this, and other after that we are going to write the item. Okay, so let me just, yes. So as you can see, we have passed the item to the cart widget. So in the cart widget, we have to we have all the attributes written, the title, subtitle, trailing, and this. And now, in as I have told you earlier, we have to we can also add item to the wish list from the cart screen. So let me just show you. We can add item to the wish list from the cart screen. So to do that, we have to define the icon button where we can pass the same function we have defined earlier. So let me just, okay, like this. Like this you can add item to the wish list. This is the same function we used earlier. I just copy and paste it over here. So that's it from this page. Now we will move to the wishlist screen, and where we first create the instance of provider, and then we will first uncomment it, and then we will add the item count, and then we will add pass the item. Okay, that's it. Now we will move to the wishlist screen, from where we can add the item to the cart screen here, and that's it. We have almost done everything. Now you just need to add one more thing, and that's we have to wrap our my app of the from the main class with the providers, all the providers we have. So this can be little not difficult, I can say, but it's for beginners it can be a little tricky, but when you know the idea, it's not that difficult. So we have to wrap we are using two providers, actually, card provider and widget provider. So we have to wrap our my app with the multi providers. Okay, and then we have to pass the argument of providers. So it's simple. First we wrap our app with multi providers, then we pass the argument provider, which is a list of nothing but all the providers we have. So change app no card provider and which list provider. This is a simple syntax: change a notifier of type card provider, and then create provider. So that's it. Now just may I can restart my app and see is it working. So the app is started. So let's just check our app is working fine. We press the wishlist button, the item wishlist, apple is wishlist, and then we add X to the cart. Okay, so let's check in the wishlist. Yes, the apples are wishlist, and in cart, yes, eggs are carted. So from here we can add item to the wish list. So eggs will be in wish list, Yes, it's working fine. So one more thing, if you want to save your data in the in the shared preference or any other, so what you can do is you can, while initiating your app, you can pass the data over here. So let me just show you. For example, there is a cart where we can not initialize it with null, and then we can create a constructor like this. So from, and in this main we have to pass the item, so we can have pass the items. Okay, for example, we have and here we have to write a function void get data from a backend. Let's suppose backend. So we have to, let's say we have to, then we have to call this function before run app. And I'm not going to actually fetch the data. I'm just writing is it for the sake of simplicity, for telling you how you can do this too. So, for example, that we can actually okay, you can add this data type to here and return this. Okay, I just have to import it. Okay, now you have to pass this function over here, and that's it. So you can do like this, like this. So for example, when we start a web, we have, rather than initializing it with null, we can have this. So let me just add some temporary data. For example, let's just add apples to the backend function. Where's my main dot? Okay, here's main dot, and yes. So let's just startup. So now you can see the items we are getting in the cart will be apples, and in the wish list it will be null. So let's just check is everything is fine. Okay, wait. Okay, now first check our wish list. Wish list is okay. Wish list is empty. Okay, now we can check cart. Yeah, and as you can see, the cart has one item which is grocery apple. We have defined here. Okay, in this way you can fetch the data from the backend or any server, Firebase or SQL or any database you have in before starting the app. You can also add the splash screen or any other progress indicator to have to make the loading screen. So that's it for the today. I hope you like the video.